Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Hope we're all good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here. Okay, my name is Daniela Ikiopara, and this is basically a webinar organized by Analytics, and we are absolutely excited to have every single person here. So let's go ahead with the session. What just Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. Just let me know when you can see my screen. Thank you. All right. So just drop a comment in the comment section when you see my screen so we can go ahead with the session. See my screen. Hello, I had a bit of network issues. I don't know if we can see my screen, so we can go ahead with the session. So just comment down below so we can go ahead. Let me be sure that we're all engaged and we're up to speed. I believe we can see my screen now. Oh, no. Okay. How about now, please? Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay. All right. While my screen is coming up. So hello everyone, welcome to this amazing session hosted by Analytics. My name is Daniela Onyechi-Kilpara, and I am the community lead for Analytics, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. So in today's webinar, we'll be discussing product design versus DevOps engineering. Which career path is right for you? Which career path should you explore as a professional? I know for most of us that joined this session, we have a bit of question in our heads regarding what career path actually suits me. I have a bit of an interest in product design, or maybe you have a bit of an interest in DevOps engineering, and you just want to know more. You want to get more details about these various career paths so you can get some form of direction towards which area to explore, which area to transition to, which area to move into. But first, before we go into all that, who are we? Who is Analytics? Who are these people organizing this webinar? Now, basically, we are a leading edtech, educational technology company focused in providing specialized training in technology skills and also delivering comprehensive data consulting services. Basically, we teach various tech courses from product design, DevOps engineering, to data analytics, cybersecurity, project management, a host of other various tech skills that are thriving in today's world. So basically, that's what we basically do. And we've been doing that for over 5 years, building talents for technology workforce globally, not just Nigeria, but talking about the US workforce, we're talking about the UK workforce, we're talking about, the Canadian workforce and a host of other countries as well. We have helped over 3,855 plus professionals transition, from the classroom into various first job in tech. Now, this is people that have experience, people that just came in brand new, just trying to transition, people that have never explored the tech field, people that had some form of experience. Basically, we've helped them transition into various tech roles in these different countries. We are committed to making the technology sector more accessible through premium and experiential training in these various courses. And we have built an amazing team of instructors from leading global companies like Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey, Amazon, etc. They've worked various companies and they come in and train our amazing students and help them transition into tech. So they bring a wealth of real world experience and are dedicated to delivering an engaging, practical learning experience that ensures you receive maximum value from your investment in your future. So we're not just talking about you coming into our program and just leaving. We're talking about helping you actually transition, actually secure various roles in various industries. So that's what we do. That's who we are. Basically, we are Analytics, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you all join this session. Who is talking to you today? Who is the person communicating with you? My name is Daniela Ikiopara, just like I mentioned earlier on, and I am a corporate communications and marketing strategist with over 5 years of experience driving growth for brands across fintech, edtech, marketing technology, banking, and finance industry. I've worked in these various industries when it comes to marketing, corporate communications. And basically, I specialize in search engine optimization, paid advertising, influencer marketing, and end-to-end campaign execution. Yeah, currently I am the community management lead at Analytics, where I lead strategic communications and demand generation and community engagement initiatives like this one for global learners transitioning into tech. That's who I am. Now we have this incredible session that we brought a host of amazing speakers to join us today. One of them is a senior UI UX designer with over 9 years of experience creating digital products that are clean, intuitive, and accessible. We have Kingsley Orji. He's based abroad and he is a professional in the field when it comes to product design, UI, UX. And he's coming in here into this session to share his experience, what he has learned, what based off the 9 years that he has worked in the industry, and give us basic on-hand experience. What is it actually like to be a UI UX product designer? What is it like? What are you expecting in the field? What are you looking forward to in the field? Yes, and his work spans fintech, AI, SaaS, healthcare, and e-commerce, where he has simplified complex workflows, enhanced usability, and brought clarity to previously messy product experience. So the messy product experience that people have with app, website, all those kind of activities, he has created clarity as a designer and ensure that people have a great experience with whatever platform he has created. He enjoys the full spectrum of design process, from speaking with users, running usability tests, to wireframing, prototyping, collaborating closely with developers to bring ideas to life. He is also deeply committed to design systems and accessibility, ensuring that every product built is consistent, scalable, and usable for all. Basically, that is what Kingsley has been doing for the past 9 years, building some of the most amazing products and ensuring that users have incredible usage experience. And we have Vincent Pitti, who is a DevOps engineer with Standard Chartered Bank, and he's an incredible person as well, an expert as well. Vincent basically designs scalable cloud and AI platforms that accelerate innovation in automation, machine learning, and trading systems. He builds intelligent, automated cloud and AI infrastructures that powers modern financial and data-driven products. He is a senior DevOps and AI infrastructure engineer. He architects and automates scalable platforms across AWS, Azure, and GCP, leveraging Terraform, Kubernetes, and CI and CD to deliver faster, safer, and more coefficient softwares and ML pipelines. Basically, his work has driven measurable outcomes, such as 70% reduction in cloud costs, 99.9% uptime, and deployment accelerated by 40%. So we didn't bring a bunch of newbies. That's not bad, but we didn't bring people that are just entering the field. We had brought a team of experts who are going to share their experience, what they believe will definitely help and push the next industry, and also give you insight. What is it like to be a DevOps engineer? What is it like to be a product designer or UI UX designer? Gives you full details so you know what you're actually expecting in this session. Okay, so within the session, we'll take a quick quiz. So you can explore and see which area, which career path actually suits me, which career path is beneficial to me. So I would like to have our amazing panelists say hi, greet the crowd, and just, give us a little bit of an intro, aside from the one that I said, give us a little bit of their experience and share a little bit. Then we go into our panel section directly, and we'll explore some questions regarding both career paths. Hello, Vincent. Are you here with us? Kingsley, what about you? Are you here?
Yes. Here, flesh and blood.
Okay, awesome.
I'm going to introduce myself briefly. My name is Kingsley, and I'm a senior UX designer, and I've been doing this design thing for more than, I would say, professionally, 9 years, and for part of it, almost 15 years now. So all my life has just been designs. I've just worked with I've worked with several companies from Inclusive to Table, from Table to Uber, from Uber down to Simply Bird, where I'm officially the lead UX designer currently, and I've just been here for I think 4 months now. So
Oh,
I grew part of my career while I was in the UK, but now I'm currently in Canada. And aside from design, I love swimming and hiking. I think, yeah, that's just a bit intro about myself.
okay, awesome. Thank you for the intro. Like, did y'all hear the resume? Did we hear the resume, the reports, the receipts that he mentioned? Oh my goodness. The companies mentioned. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, Kinsley, because what you mentioned, the different career paths that you mentioned, the different companies, that shows that you've built a wealth of experience. You know, being on the fund side for 15 years and profession in 9 years, that's quite a very, very, that's quite a resume, to be honest. That's just what it is, an incredible
Thank you.
resume.
Thank you.
So it's an absolute pleasure to have you. Hi, Vincent. I believe you should be able to unmute now. I just made you co-host. Hi, can you say hi?
Yes, yes. Hi, everyone. I'm able to meet myself now. Can you all hear
Oh,
me?
yeah, we can hear you clearly. Would like to see you too.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't see me now. My bad, my bad. Yeah. So, my name is Vincent Tete, and I'm a senior DevOps engineer at Standard Chartered Bank. Um, my background starts from somewhere 2019, where I started as a software engineer. So I started as a front end engineer, then I moved to back end, then eventually to cloud, and then I'm now a senior DevOps engineer. Yeah. So I'll be glad to share my experiences with you, and then probably what you have to do to get to the senior level as a DevOps engineer. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the intro. I mean, you work with an amazing bank and you've also built a wealth of experience in the field. So we'll be going through some questions and we'll go right into the panel session. We'll go through some questions, get a little bit of insight from the DevOps aspect, get a little bit of insight from the product design aspect so we can give people that joined into the session a bit of insights to help them explore, okay, which area actually suits me, which area would actually push me forward in my career, where do I have interest, which area do I pursue based off interest, based off experience, or based off the insights you get from today's session. Okay, so my colleagues are dropping a link, and that's to fill our attendance sheet for you to get the recording, to get all the good stuff, the details, everything you need from this particular session. Just fill in the details, and you'll be able to receive a recording of this session, and you can join us, explore it, watch it, and yeah, basically gain a lot of insights from it. So just do not forget to fill the attendance sheet, which is being dropped in the chat. Okay, let's quickly go into our panel session. So I'll stop sharing my screen so we can discuss, have proper conversation. Okay, hi, Kinsley.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, how did we get here? How did you get into product design, UI, UX, the good stuff? How did we get here?
That's an interesting question. You know, I've not asked myself this question over the years. How did I get here? So, um, how did I get here? Back in Nigeria, before I traveled in 2021 to the UK, was just designing based on, just for the fun part of it. And most times I remember asking my friend that question. I think that was like 10 years ago. Why would that we're using the Safari at that moment. That was the era of before even iPhone came into becoming a thing now. So I noticed that the search bar, the way you just put in your URL is on top. I was asking him, why would they place it on top? Why not the bottom? So like a lot of curiosity, even the days of to go, the days of early days on Facebook, I noticed that there is this gap between the UI and everything. So things were not really looking that great. I think that was just even one of the things that actually inspired me to getting BlackBerry device, because then it has much more. The interface is very cool and all that. So I became interested in the whole thing. Those days I would just be using Photoshop to redesign some apps to make it look better. And I would say 90% of the time that I've presented these things to my friends, I'd be like, okay, I like yours more than what these guys have. Why don't you pitch it to these companies? So got me interested into reading some books about the Norman books and designs of everyday thing, and that it actually drew my interest into making UI be beautiful. I have not really considered the UX part of it until I migrated to the UK. And one day I was talking to my friend and I told him that this 98% of all the apps or the websites, even all the bank apps in Nigeria, they look terrible. And the UX is just not there. Why don't we just build a company that would just focus on brand and giving these guys a good UI and all those stuff. So I think that was what fueled my interest. But my friend didn't even pick up the idea. But I kind of took the idea a step further. I said, okay, if I can find someone, because back then he was in Nigeria, I said, okay, if I'm not going to find someone that would I would do this with, I would rather let me just go and read up what these guys actually do in real times. What do they do? So I went into Indeed. I started searching UI design. That led to UX design. That was the first time I actually came across UX design. I said, what? These guys earn up to 90,000 pounds. What do they do different? So I started reading about some of the things these guys do, discovered Figma along the way, the tools they use, and all those stuff. So then I was just a master's student in international business with data analytics. So I picked more interest on design because it has always been my thing. Started reading, started researching on what to do and how to get into the space. And boom, here. That's just the journey in a nutshell.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so very, very much for sharing that. That's quite an interesting journey because, I mean, it's you seeing a problem and feeling like, okay, maybe I can probably fix this problem. Maybe you basically just ask questions about a couple of things that you thought could be better. And that's very, very interesting. That's very, very interesting. Hi, Vincent. How did we get here? How did we get to DevOps engineering? These are career paths that you just would not normally think of. So how did we get to DevOps engineering?
Yeah, I think for me, I started as a software engineer. I never knew one day I'd become a DevOps engineer. So initially I was a front end, like I said earlier. I've been a front end engineer for nearly 2 years, and then I'm a very curious person. I wanted to know how APIs have been created. So I moved to backend. I did backend for a while, and then by then I was at Turntable, like I based in Ghana. So while working as a software engineer, the company wanted to introduce DevOps, right? And then they wanted to create a team that have prior knowledge in computer networking and system administration. And I'm happy to have one as well. So I got selected to join that team, and then that's where my journey started. I was introduced to cloud computing, then eventually DevOps. Then I happened to be the first to like create that DevOps culture in a company, and like lead a team to create a platform that like automated software deployment for about 70 projects. And then I worked there for some time, and then I moved to Standard Chartered, where I spearhead the DevOps team as a senior DevOps engineer. And over there too, I've had experience working with people from Malaysia, Singapore, and India. Like we have people across board. So that's my journey. DevOps is it's not an easy role, but you need to have experience in software engineering and computer networking to be able to understand the full processes of DevOps, and then understand how software works first, and then how to automate it, and then make sure that the deployments are working well, automation are very efficient, and then you also as well saving cost. So that's my journey. It's pretty rough.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Vincent. That's incredible. I mean, you made some form of career transition from software engineering into fully into DevOps engineering, and being able to do it globally and while being in Ghana. That's incredible because you're doing such an amazing thing from where you are comfortably working with multiple global brands, and having the freedom to explore and have fun and have a bit of freedom based on your career path. And just like you mentioned, it's not an easy one, but it's something that there's a good amount of reward for it. Okay, so going back to Vincent, I just have a quick question. So for a complete beginner, somebody that is just starting out their journey, how would you explain what product design UI UX is? What is UI UX? How would you explain the concept, the career path of UI UX? How would you explain it to them?
I think Kisley will be the right person to handle this.
Yeah, it's a Kinsley or Kinsley.
Okay. If I'm just going to explain this to someone that doesn't understand tech generally, just like the way I'm going to explain it to my grandma, be like, okay, what do you guys even do? I remember my dad asking me, what do you guys even do? I said, we design softwares. That is just it. So, as to what architects are to building, that is what we are to mobile applications, to web applications. That's just the simple terms. So if you now start going into the deeper end, you would say some things like UX design is not just about making things look beautiful or trying to like redefine the whole context of how users would use a product. UX design is just about sharing the empathy, which means you're going to see something from the eyes of the people that are going to use these products you're designing. So if I'm going to design this, I'm running with just a simple brief whereby a client just gives you, okay, this is what we want to do. How do you build it? So you are the person that is going to think about how would these things function? How do I design this? How do I manage the brand colors? How do I fit in the typographics of these companies, the fonts they use, the branding, the core thing that this company stands for. How do I interpret this into a functional app? Your business is not building it. Your business is just to design it. So stuff like the MacBook, the laptop that you're using is somebody that designed those interfaces that you're seeing there before the developers now build this, because they cannot build this without those design. Even if they want to build it, it's going to go through. Maybe it could just take them like 10 years, but you stepping in as a US designer might just step in and say, okay, we're going to cut this into 2 years because I'm now going to give you something to look at. A typical example is, when you copy from someone in an exam hall, you write faster. But when you don't know what to write and you're writing from your head, you didn't read books, you will even sit down there, others will just write and leave. That is just how it is. So the role that will play is just to step in, give the products a shape, bring it to life, because you've communicated what you want to build, we bring it to life, and the developers now build on that. We don't write codes, but That doesn't mean it's not hard. We are stepping into the hard part, but let's just let me give more room for Vincent to talk.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Basically, everyone, in simple terms, a product designer makes things look good. But then if you're going, into the deeper aspects, there's a whole lot of mental work that goes into it, mental work and creativity. And yeah, we respect that. No codes, but it takes a lot of effort to do all of those activities. So definitely we understand that. Okay, hello, Vincent. How do we explain it? Just like Kingsley said, he would easily explain it to his grandma. How will you explain it to anybody who is just coming in as a beginner? How will you explain DevOps engineering? They just need a basic knowledge about the DevOps engineering. How do you put them through that?
Yeah, DevOps, So if you hear the word DevOps, it's combination of two things. It's either dev and then ops. All right. So it's developer and operations engineer. All right. So a DevOps person is someone who understands software engineering, someone who works with a software engineering team, works with QA, works with cybersecurity team, work with management. All right. It's like we work with the entire, except UI UX. Right? We don't normally work with UI UX designers, but we end up working with almost all the other stakeholders in software engineering lifecycle. So a DevOps person is someone who sits down and then understands the software that's been developed. All right. And then we think about how are we going to architect the software? How are we going to deploy it? Which cloud platform are we going to be deploying our softwares on? How much is it going to cost us? All right. How are we going to be able to scale in terms of like high traffic? How are we able to scale down when the traffic is low? Right. So those are the things that DevOps engineer like does on a daily basis. We are like the people who make sure the software is always up and running. Right. We are the people who are responsible for making sure that the company, even though host the application on a cloud provider, they save a lot of money. Right. We make sure that the application doesn't go down. And then when there are downtimes, we don't sleep. Like we are the people who have to wake up at the middle of the night and make sure that the software is back online. Right. So just see as someone who is mainly handling the software product, the end product, and making sure that it is always available for end users to use. So that's basically like to a layman, like that's basically the definition of who a DevOps engineer is.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Basically, the DevOps engineer navigates ensuring and also ensures that the platform is up and running for the users to make use of, no matter whatever situation. And of course, there's a lot of cross-functional partnership and other activities happening with various other departments and having to navigate and coordinate that. So there's a lot of operations activities going on there. So yes, thank you so much for sharing, Vincent. I believe we all should have some form of basic knowledge about these two career paths that we're exploring today. Now, Vincent, somebody going into DevOps engineering, what kind of tools, let's start with the skills first. What skills do they need to learn? And what tools do you think they need in order to pursue a career in DevOps engineering or to transition into DevOps engineering?
Yeah. The first on my list is software engineering. You can't be a DevOps without knowing software engineering, knowing how software is being developed. If you don't have any programming knowledge, you can't be a DevOps engineer, right? Because you're going to work with code, you're going to write codes to automate. So, like, the basic requirement is software engineering. Then after that, you need to have knowledge of how networks work. So networking and system administration. You need to have that knowledge of how servers work. So Linux is very important. Windows is very important. You need to know how to manage users. That's more like system administration. You need to know what a switch is. You need to know what a router is, how the internet works. The OSI model is something you need to know by heart. Like you need to know at every layer what happens. So basically, software engineering, then computer networking, and then system administration, then cloud computing. Very, very important. So you need to probably start with one. So for the programming aspect, you can start with Python. You learn Python. Probably after learning Python, you can learn how to automate a few workflows with Python. Then you can start with probably understanding how backend works. That one will give you a very solid foundation to be able to know how software has been developed. Or if you are more of a front-end person, you like designs, you can move to the front-end aspect. Then you also understand how software has been developed, like in terms of like front ends. Then for networking and system administration, you can take CCNA certifications to understand how networks works, right? Once you get those certifications or join boot camps where they like analytics, where they also teach you the basis of computer networking as part of the DevOps track. Once you're able to get the software and the networking, then you move to cloud. Because of late, companies they don't face cables, like physical cables where they connect the routers and computers. Everything is being done in the cloud. So, for example, a company can just have, in case they're using Azure, they can use Azure Entra to manage their users. All they have to do is to get internet, and then laptops are connected to Azure. They're able to manage the laptop, their users, everything without having any physical switch or server at the office, right? So you need to know cloud computing very well. You can one provider, whether AWS or Azure, then you master it. Then you come to DevOps. DevOps itself comprises all the things I've mentioned, right? So you will be learning CI/CD, you'll be learning version control, like where the source code of the code is being kept, like GitHub and Git. Then you learn CI/CD, learning tools like Jenkins, Secure CI. If you want to manage one like those on AWS and Azure, we have something a platform called Azure DevOps. You can also learn their stack. And then apart from CI/CD, you also learn monitoring tools like Datadog, Prometheus, and Grafana for monitoring. Then security. You need to understand governance, like data governance, right? Because you'll be working with databases and then you're working with retention policies, and then you make sure that customer data is being backed up and then is secure in both in transit and at rest. So you need to understand encryption, decryption, secret key management, and all those things, like understand security as well. So it's kind of a very bulky journey, but you need to start from somewhere, right? Once I see people who start right away, like DevOps engineer, without having programming background or understanding how software works. But if you have that, like that foundation, it gives you more leverage because you understand how software is being created, and then you'll be able to automate and then make sure that that software is being well deployed and then runs efficiently, right? And then you'll be able to also, and one thing you have to also master is cost management. Like that's one thing you'll be having conversation with managers all the time. If there's a spike in costs, they'll call you to the office. The DevOps engineer, we've realized that AWS is charging us $2,000, $3,000. What's the cost? Can we look at metrics and see what's causing the spike in cost? Then you have to explain why ABC is happening. If you can't explain, you are fired. Like that's one thing they can fire you for because you are wasting the company's money. So knowing how to also manage cloud costs is very important. So that's basically the journey, and it's some of the things you need to learn to become a DevOps engineer.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Vincent. Basically, DevOps engineering is for people that are interested in coding, people that are interested in programming. This basically is a career path that they can explore and transition into. So thank you so much for sharing that, Vincent. So let's look at Francis, for example. Francis is somebody who is a part of our session. And Francis is looking to transition into product design, UI, UX. Kingsley, what tools, what skills does Francis need to transition into product design or UI, UX?
Well, there is a couple of tools that you would need, but the number one tool that we use, like the better of them all, is Figma. So that's the number one tool. And we also use Miro, we use FigJam, which is part of the Figma tool. We use user testing. We also use ChatGPT, to kind of validate some of our ideas. And there is deeper ends on how we use ChatGPT. We also use UX Pilot. We also use Adobe XD, but you can use Figma and Adobe XD at the same time, because most companies would rather prefer you to use Figma than Adobe XD. But when we started, we were using Adobe XD before we finally moved into using Figma. But I would advise to start with Figma. Then from Figma, you move to Miro, where we plan the project. Miro, we use Miro to plan project. It's the same thing with Figma. FigJam, we'll also use it to plan, because where we move from the ideation, you draw the low fidelity wireframes, kind of draw the user journey, user mapping, and all those kind of stuff. We do it right inside Miro or FigJam. Then when we do the actual design, or high fidelity design, low fidelity designs, is actually on Figma.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Kingsley. Thank you. Okay, let's move into the aspect of based on your experience over 15 years, what is the biggest misconception that people have about product designers?
I would say the biggest misconception is, how do I cook? How did I cook? Or I think the right word there is, how did I cook? Whereby people believe that we are just focused on making things look beautiful. And that's why people think that, oh, the easiest way to enter tech is through UI and UX designers. Currently, we have over 3.5 million, or 3 million to 3.5 million UX designers globally. And half of these guys are not into any role. So you can see that the market is saturated, but as it is hard to get a job as a UX designer, it's even much more harder to get a good UX designer. I'm going to repeat that again. As it is very hard to get a job as a UX designer, it's 3 times harder to get a good UX designer. Because I've seen so many companies reaching out to me and say, okay, we need a UX designers, and when you refer them to someone and they show their portfolios and all that, 99% of the time, these guys don't get hired, because they feel like something is missing. They are focused on making things look beautiful. They are focused on the UI aspect of it. UX designers are known to be problem solvers. So if you cannot solve a problem, you cannot design what you don't understand. You need to understand the product. You need to now think of how to profile a solution, how to design those solutions. So most people have been painted with this narrative that, oh, because if you're a designer, if you can design something, you can become a UX designer. No, the hard truth there is that you need to be naturally problem solver. You don't just need to be a designer before you become a UX designer. You need to understand the principles of solving problem. So if you can just ask questions about, okay, why is this thing functioning this way? Why is this thing this way, not this way? Why did you create it this way and not this way? That's a very good direction. But when you jump into say, okay, because I can just design, I know how to use Figma, I can meet someone that will teach me how to use Figma. And at the end of the day, you learn how to design. But when you face the hard truth of saying, okay, they ask you questions on based on how you would navigate a problem, how you would solve that problem, you start like gambling around because you've been told that UX design is just about design because we call it UX design. That's user experience design. What it means is that you're going to design the experience on how the users would perceive this. If the product feels 90, I would say 45% is because of you. Because most times it's very hard to market something that is not beautiful. iPhone sells faster and sells much more better because they have a very good user experience, not because they are better than Samsung. It's just because they prioritize UX over anything else. But Samsung, on the other side, we're not going to go into that debate, but I'm just trying to use it as just an example because most of the people that actually use iPhone is just because of, this when you swipe something, it behaves a certain way, and when you open an app, it moves some certain way. All of those things are just the experience that has been built into this app, and it's your job as a UX designer to figure all those things out. You're going to figure out the movement. You're going to figure out how the users use it. You're going to figure out how the users come in. You're going to figure out how they exit the app. You're going to figure out how, if I want to delete this app, will you make it easier for users to delete, or are you going to make it difficult for them to delete? How are you going to improve user retention? How is your design going to improve the market? How will you drop the marketing costs? How will you improve all of the things that we've been struggling with? Users are the drop-off rates and all of those stuff. How are you going to do that? So many people focus on the UI and they don't get to ask the why behind every design before they start designing. So I think that's just the wrong narrative that people have. And that's why if you go over Twitter or X, you will see a lot of people posting screens and they'll be like, okay, how did I cook? How do I cook? Or all this kind of stuff. These guys are looking for something clean. They are focused on designing clean design because they believe that if it's clean enough, it has solved the problem. But there's a bunch of clean designs that has a lot of usability issues. You cannot use them in real life. And most times it doesn't even align with what these guys are actually looking for. Some people cannot design a product from beginning to the end, which involves like designing its screens one after the other. When the password fails, what does it look like? When the password is successful, what does it look like? When I come into the app, what does it look like? When I'm using it for the first time, what does it look like? When I'm an old-time user, what does it look like? So some of these things are some of the stuffs that will factor in before we start designing.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Kinsley. So, one thing I definitely gained from what you shared is a big misconception. People coming in and saying, "How did I cook?" About the look of the design is beyond the look. Cooking is, beyond just it looks good. It's about how will the user feel when making use of it? How will the experience be like with them exploring the app and or the platform generally. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So UI UX product design is beyond it looking good. And some of us that feel like one thing you mentioned, Kinsey, that I want everybody, in this meeting to take note of is the fact that like most people feel when it comes to product design, UI UX, I must have design experience. I should just focus on, design. I don't know how to design or I know how to design. It's beyond just that. There's also the aspect of you exploring people's emotions, people's feelings regarding using various tools, using various platforms, having to navigate it. Can you project, can you explore, can you research people's feelings about platforms, usage, all those things? That also is included in UI UX product design. So it's not just about cooking great design. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Kinsley. Hi, Vincent.
Hello. Daniela.
What is a big misconception people have when it comes to DevOps engineering?
Yeah, people think DevOps is all about CI/CD, but it's way beyond that, right? People think that, oh, you just come and create CI/CD pipelines every day, CI/CD pipelines, then you automate pipeline and go. No, that's a big lie. CI/CD is just a mostly one-time thing that you just write some script to do, and then it runs all the time when a code is pushed. You need to understand software engineering. Like I said earlier, there are times where developers write bad codes, and those bad codes end up using more CPU, more memory, more resources in general. And when those resources are being used, your cloud cost goes up. And when your cloud cost goes up, your manager will call you and ask you why. And you have to find a way to justify. How would you tell that the code is consuming more resources or the product is consuming more resources than expected? If you don't understand the product very well, you can't even tell whether it is using the right amount of memory or resources or not, right? So that's one thing people have to know. Without software engineering knowledge, don't venture into the world, because you struggle, right? There's a time where a developer writes a bad code and then you see that this small application or product is using a lot of like gigabytes of storage and memory. And if you tell the developers, they believe they wrote good codes, like their code is clean, everything is fine. Sometimes I have to deep dive into the code and tell you that I think this is where the issue is. And we go to the code line by line and then resolve the issue. Because once the code is good and then they are using the right amount of resources, your cost is minimum and then you're happy, right? But if it's otherwise, management is going to be on your neck. And that's one thing they don't joke with, cost, right? So I think most people think it's just CI/CD. They just wake up, I was going to DevOps engineer, start learning Jenkins, start learning GitHub. They create a few pipeline and they say, I'm a DevOps engineer. Like Kinsley said, there are a lot of DevOps engineers in the market now, but for you to get a good one, well, you struggle because all they know about is CI/CD. They don't even understand software. They don't understand networking. They don't know anything about the product that is being developed, right? You can say you're going to develop a product and you have no idea of what is going on, and you want to automate it. You want to make sure it's running very well. How's that possible? All right. So I think people have to start getting it clear and then make sure they build their foundation very well. Because when it comes to debugging, when it comes to breaking things down to understand where the cause of issue is very difficult. The OSI model I mentioned starts from the lowest physical device level up to the user level, what the user see and when they click on the button, what happens. So you have to do debugging from that level to the down. And if you don't understand software or the products or networking, you can't even know that in the first place. Yeah, so that's basically some of the misconceptions people have about DevOps engineers.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Vincent. Okay, so a question I really want to get a formal answer is, for somebody that is considering a career in DevOps engineering or product design, from your own end as a DevOps engineer, what should they consider before transitioning into DevOps engineering, maybe, or making their decision? What should they consider before making their decision on what career paths they should explore?
Yeah. One thing you have to consider is if you can wake up at 12 midnight or 3 a.m. and then all you see is a black console with a white text, or depending on how you want to do it, and then you live your life reading logs, application, like a lot of application logs to understand what's going on, then I think DevOps is your and then having the ability to learn, like you are an everyday learner, like you learn like crazy, because DevOps you have a lot of tools, a lot of tech stacks, and when you have to, every company has their own tech stack, right? And you have to know them. Like they don't care, you have to know them, right? So if you're not someone who loves to learn, who is curious enough, then don't venture into DevOps. because you're going to burn out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. So one has to be a curious person. You have to be willing to learn new tools. You have to be willing to learn new technology coming into the space, how to navigate them, how to make use of them in order to transition into DevOps engineering. Okay. Hi, Kinsley.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so somebody looking to transition into product design, UI, UX, what should they consider? What should be a driving factor for me to think, okay, you know what, I think I can definitely do this as a career path?
The first thing you should consider is have someone that is doing the job teach you, and not someone that's feels like, because a lot of people kind of and I'm not saying this because an analytics actually reached out for me to come and speak. I'm saying this because I think there's a time I saw an analytics and on Instagram, and I was like, let me just go through what these guys do. One thing I found out is, okay, the fees are high. Why is it high? I said, okay, maybe these guys are bringing in professionals to teach, and that boils down to what, for everybody listening to this, they didn't pay me to do this. This is just my personal observation. Have someone that is already doing the job teach you. Find a platform that someone where they kind of bring people with experience to come and teach you, not someone that feel like they know this, because from the way Vincent is speaking, you can understand that, okay, this guy is well rooted in DevOps and all that. This is what's like you should be looking out for. Not There's a lot of people that will project themselves that, oh, I'm a UX designer, but you notice that the person has just been doing gigs from Upwork, gigs from just little gigs, and they say that they're UX designer, but you've not seen that person work with a team. How does it look like? How do you handle team when somebody say, oh, I don't like your design, will you take it personal or will you go back and iterate on it? So when somebody, what does it feel like to work with team? What does it feel like to report to a stakeholder? What does it feel like to walk people through your designs in a board meeting? So until you find someone that will teach you, or to you find a platform that would actually guide you into all these crooks and crannies beyond using Figma. Figma is just like 20% of the work we do. 80% of the work we do is based on research, is based on interviews. We're interviewing the actual users, what they say or what you actually take out from these things is quite different. Most people that handle most freelancers have not really been opportune to experience this part of the whole thing, because I've actually faced two of them. I've been freelancing, I've freelanced, and I'm still freelancing before I actually got my permanent job when I moved to Canada. And I've done full-time role, and I've seen that these are two worlds apart. You cannot bring your experience as a freelancer and use that to get a full-time job. That is why most times you see people freelancing, not because it's just by choice. Everybody wants that stability. Most of these guys have not been able to secure a permanent role. A company that will just build you on a paycheck month after month. At least every month you know that something is coming in. So sometimes I always tell people to consider all of these things. Find someone that have the core experience and let them guide you. Another thing is also look out for mentors. So when you actually look, most people, I've seen a lot of Nigerians, I've seen a lot of Indians, I've seen a lot of Pakistanis, I've seen a lot of people, even a guy that was working with Apple one certain time, she had this issue about everybody contributing to her design. So when she presents her designs in a board meeting, everybody kind of have different opinions about, because design is something that everybody's definitely going to have opinion about, right? So because it's something that people see, how does she manage all of these things? So I was able to actually guide her because of my experience with Onclusive. Onclusive is the second biggest media monitoring platform in the whole of Europe, and I think the third in the whole world. So team management is something else because you are, as a UX designer, you are the creator. I would just say you are the creator. You own the product. So you present it to them. They talk, and they say, okay, this is my input, this is my input, and this is my input. You collectively get all of those things and go back and refine and work on that. But when you say, well, I've listed, I'm going to do what you said, then you're not a UX designer because you're just taking what they actually said. You're just collectively say, okay, I've listened to everything you guys have said. I'm just going to go back and make my iterations and bring it back to you guys to evaluate again. So all of these things is just something you factor in. Find a good mentor. Number one is just find a platform that actually have somebody that have hands-on experience teach you. Then after that, find a mentor. And the next thing you're going to do is design at least 4 hours every day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kinsley. That's quite interesting. Thank you so much for, of course, the credit that you gave us as well. We absolutely appreciate it. Yeah. So both career paths, as much as they are, quite different. One involves coding, the other doesn't involve coding, but they are both beautiful tech career paths. And we have amazing professionals who can handle this, and they've shared insights based off their career experience, their journey in the tech space, how they transition, how they got into it. So thank you so much. Thank you both so much for sharing insight on all that. So if somebody wants to connect with you, Kingsley, how will they connect with you?
I'm currently active on LinkedIn with over 61,000 followers, and I'm also active on X. My name on X is Design with Kingsley, and my name on LinkedIn is Kingsley OG. I also have a YouTube channel where I actually give my 1 or 2 cents on prototyping. They know me as King of Prototypes. So on YouTube is Design with Kingsley, on TikTok is Design with Kingsley, on Instagram is Design with Kingsley.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. We can connect with Kingsley, if you need a little bit of insight, you can reach out to him. And hello, Vincent. How can people connect with you? How can they reach out to you?
I'm mostly active on LinkedIn. So just search my name and then you'll see me there. You can send hi.
Okay.
I'm mostly a busy person, so sometimes you say hi, I don't respond. Just keeps like reminding me. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we can connect with Vincent Tete via LinkedIn. We can easily reach out to him as well as a DevOps engineer. Okay, so thank you all. Just like I mentioned earlier on during this session, this is organized by Analytics, and we help people transition into tech, various aspects. So we wanted to explore a little bit when it comes to product design, DevOps engineering, give our community a bit of insight based on people that are already on the field, people that have experience. They give you the real accurate details about what is actually happening in the field and how you can be a part of it, how you can, have fun in the field and how you can build a career in it. Just like they both mentioned, it's easy to see product designer, UI UX. It's easy to see DevOps engineer, but it's not easy to see a good one that companies are ready to drop everything to get them on their team. So getting a well-trained, put together, somebody that can actually do the work is a very big deal. And that's one of the things that we do here at Analytics. So I believe on the call here, we have our CEO, Analytics, Chukwemeka Ekpa, and I believe Chukwemeka will be taking over from here and have a bit of conversation with us before we conclude. Hello, Chukwemeka. Can you hear us? Okay, all right then.
All right, thank you so much, Kingsley, and thank you so much, Vincent. Hi, Daniela, please confirm that you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, Vincent. We really appreciate you gracing this occasion today. So I'm going to be taking up from here and now be able to have conversation with every other person on the call looking to break into any of these career paths. So one place I want to start from is that sometimes when we see any of these courses out there, we always have a feeling that, are you sure this is something that I can do? So we here at Tech Analytics, what we always love to do is to look at the transferable skills that you have into tech and be able to find a place where you have more transfer into this aspect of tech. For instance, if you're someone that you don't like design, like you don't like colors, you don't like anything that has to do with elements, you don't have any business going to product design. And if you're someone that are running from coding, you don't have any business going to DevOps. So these are little things that we need to be able to find out and then now be able to align you to a particular program that you want to go for. And many times people also think, can I actually be able to do this? Okay, can I be able to do this? Which is why I'm also sharing a couple of success stories of people that have been able to do this before now. We have Evelyn. Evelyn used to work as a nurse, okay, and she was able to transition to data engineering. And that's after working as a nurse for 15 years. She came to us and mentioned, oh, I want to transition to something where I should be able to work from home. Then also the same thing with John. John used to be a medical doctor, but he was also able to transition to become a data analyst. As well as Tony. Tony also transitioned to become a data analyst from being a pharmacist. So in the science background, the possibility also exists for you to be able to break into the tech sector. And from the arts background as well, we have Temi. Temi used to be a lawyer and also assessed him and realized that business analysis is the right career path for him. Same thing with Osalbo. Osalbo also was business analysis from being a salesperson. Same thing with Ngozi. Ngozi used to be a customer sales personnel, but right now she also is working as a business analyst. But one major story that stood out for me was Ikmat. So Ikmat branded herself as someone that has no background. In fact, she always mentioned it, that she's a full-time stay-at-home mom. But she wanted to break into tech, and she was able to also do the same thing and became a data analyst. So all these things are possible. But first thing is that you have to learn, okay? And we've been able to discover the working formula for the last 5 years that we've been doing this. Okay, and it's very, very simple, actually. This formula is you need to learn. Then secondly, you need to package yourself. And then you need to apply to job. Now, one major mistake people make most time is in the aspect of learning. When you want to learn really, what exactly do you need to learn? Okay, what exactly do you need to learn? Some people learn in a theoretical manner. Some people learn in a practical manner. I can tell you for a fact that there are differences between both of these people. If I practice or I learn product design theoretically, and someone else is working with Figma and learning the same product design, there's going to be a difference. But this is where people always drop the ball because there is a lot of news out there. People are mentioning, oh, just come with your phone. You should use your phone to learn this. Okay, just come with an iPad. You should use an iPad to do this. Okay, but in the context of you doing the actual job in the tech space, is it really feasible? Okay, and then in the context of what you will be learning, are they sufficient for you to be able to land a job? Now, after you've learned whether it's product design or DevOps, next thing is for you to package yourself, okay? And this packaging can range across CV optimization, LinkedIn optimization, working on your portfolio, very, very important, then mentorship session and interview preparatory classes, okay? And very, very important also, job references. If you're in US or UK or even Canada, even in Nigeria, you agree with me that most time when you land a job, recruiters will always want to know, where have you actually been able to work with these skills that you said that you have, which means we need a reference letter from that organization. And that is where we also come in. Then applying to the job is as crucial as the learning and packaging itself. So this is also the place where people drop off and drop the ball, because they always mention, oh, I've learned the skill, I've packaged myself. If I apply to one job, I should be able to land the job. But I can tell you for a fact that it is not so. In fact, I was looking at a survey last week, and they mentioned that for you to land a job, for you to land one job interview in a month, okay, one job interview in a month, you need to be able to apply to 12 jobs in a day. Now, this should tell you the extent that it ranges. Now, this is 12 multiplied by, let's say, 30. All right, 12 multiplied by 30, you can know what it's going to give you. That means 360 jobs over a period of 1 month. But sometimes when we apply to one job and apply to 2 jobs, we always feel like, oh, nothing is coming. So with your skills, with your efficiency, some no's are going to come. But it's not you not being deliberate to continuously keep pushing that is going to make you to actually be able to land a job in the end. So when we finish teaching you, which is the learning aspect of it, and package you as well to prepare you with the employability skill, next thing we also do is to walk you through how you can actually be able to tailor your CV down to the specific job that you're going for and be able to apply to them. Once you're able to apply this simple formula of LPA, trust me, you are going to land a job. But what we see these days are people that are willing to jump from, oh, I just want to package myself as a UX designer. Maybe you learned how to do prototype, or you just know how to do the initial aspect of using Figma, and you've packaged yourself. I'm now the full-blown thing, okay? But without that core learning aspect, you are going to struggle to land a job, okay? So this same formula is what we've used for a lot of people for the last couple of years, and they've also been successful with regards to landing their own job. In fact, as at today, we've helped roughly 2,855 people to land job across US, UK, Canada. And it's not rocket science. What we do is simply using this same formula that you are seeing on my screen. Learn, package yourself, apply to jobs, and then definitely the job is going to come. So how exactly are you going to be learning? So in the context of learning here at Analytics, you are going to be walked through several processes. But before we even get to that point, I want you to understand the reason why we are even offering DevOps and product design. Because if you've been following us before now, you notice that we don't do product design and DevOps. But there is a reason why at the moment it is part of our courses. So every quarter, we always analyze all the jobs that were posted on LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Monster, Indeed, and several other places. So after this analysis, next thing that we also now do is these jobs that we've seen as the highest number of jobs that are posted for the last quarter, in the next coming years, are they going to still be relevant? Okay, and that means we are assessing them through what we call the World Economic Forum report to validate that these jobs are going to be relevant in the next coming years. Now, after this validation, there's one critical metric that we also pass it through, and that's in UK, what is that job requirement with regards to getting a visa sponsorship? Okay, which means if you're in United Kingdom, it means that that exact career path needs to meet at least what is needed for the skilled worker visa. If you've been following what's happening in United Kingdom, you know that before now, with an RQF of level 3, a job with an RQF of level 3, you will be able to get a visa sponsorship, but it has been increased to level 6. So, and if that career path isn't meeting that criteria, it's not going to be part of what we do here, okay? In the US as well, is it amongst the jobs with the highest H-1B acceptance rates, okay? So you forget all these things that Trump is doing with regards to for companies to bring you to US, $100,000 has to be paid. It's even making room, it's making more opening for companies to now be going for all those external people that are not in US, okay? Which also makes room for you and I, okay? So, and now when you look at it from the Canadian landscape, it needs to also be amongst the career path that has the highest number of provincial nominee programs. So these are the different metrics that we pass through to be able to select the courses that we offer here. And after all these assessments, we're able to come up with these 10 courses that you can see here: business analysis, data analytics, data science, data engineering, agile project management, cyber security, HR, financial analysis, and then DevOps engineering and product design. And the reason why both of them are actually highlighted is because they are fresh courses that we are starting this December. Okay, so before now, we've not been doing it, but because we've actually been able to carry out all this analysis, we've seen where the world is tilting to, and that is why we've added it as part of the programs that we offer here. Now, clearly, let me walk you through the selection criteria. In the next 5 years, by 2030, a lot of things are going to change. Okay, 170 million jobs will be created, while in that same timeline, 92 million jobs are going to disappear. In fact, each box on this my screen, the red box here, each one represents 1 million jobs. So all these on the red hand side are jobs that are going to disappear. The ones on the green hand side are the jobs that are going to also be created, while the ones on the blue side are just going to be stable. So what you want to do is to make sure that you move away from this red hand side towards this green side. Okay, now looking at the jobs itself, you can see that the number 5th job that we have right here on my screen, okay, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 8 job amongst the fastest growing career path as of today is the UI UX designers. And this is from the World Economic Forum report. It's not my word, okay? In fact, make sure that you fill the attendance form so that when you get this slide, you're going to click on this link that we have here and have access to the full World Economic Forum report. And then you can be able to analyze it on your own. So you can see that UI and UX designers, they are amongst the fastest growing career paths. So all the ones on this left-hand side represent career paths that are going to grow, while all the ones on this right-hand side represent career paths that are going to decline. And clearly, UI UX is amongst the fastest growing career paths as of today. Okay, I know you'll be wondering, oh, should I go for big data specialist because it's number 1? Let me tell you something that is very, very important. As of last year, 2024, when World Economic Forum report also, released their 2024 report, AI and machine learning used to be the number 1 fastest growing job. But after several innovation has been done with from the aspect of AI, it led to several data being out there, which means companies are now looking for who is going to analyze this data, process it, and be able to store it. So that singular requirement gave the rise with regards to big data specialists, and it instantly overtook AI and machine learning. Okay, and that's the same thing that's also happening with regards to UI UX. Because of the advancement in AI as well, several companies are coming out here day by day. And for them to be coming out, there's no company that is not selling a product, which means someone actually needs to be able to design the product that they are going to be selling. And because of that, it's also giving rise to product design. So you can see how all these things are intertwined. Okay, so this has validated that in the next coming years, product design is still going to be standing strong here. So next one we're going to be looking at is also DevOps engineering. You can see right here, sitting comfortably also is DevOps engineers. Okay, and I'm still going to explain this in context because over the last couple of years, there have been existing, like the speaker also mentioned, right? For you to understand DevOps is a makeup of 2 different departments, okay? Okay, like Vincent mentioned, and that's simply software dev, which I'm going to call SG, and IT operations, okay? And then DevOps are like, they are in between these guys, which means before now, if software developers build, finish, they're going to send to IT operations the software that they've developed. And they realize that it takes longer because they are no more involved with regards to what's happening with regards to operations. Okay, so that gave rise to the need that we need someone that understands software as well as someone that understands operation, which means even after this product has been developed, the guys in between are constantly moving around. So it's a never-ending loop that is actually categorized in this format. It's looking like infinity because from the concept of you even trying to build, trying to deploy, and then moving to test, it's constantly going round and round. And organizations have seen that for them to be highly efficient, they need DevOps engineers because someone needs to be the bridge between software development and IT operations. And that is also the reason why DevOps is also on the rise. So clearly you can see that these things are the reason why both of them in the next coming 5 years, they are still going to be very, very relevant. So what I want you to do is that if what you are doing is on this right-hand side, make sure that you move to a career path that is on this left side, okay? Especially with regards to what we're talking about today, product design and also DevOps engineering, all right? Now, moving on, like I mentioned earlier, the best way for you to break into tech is by, first of all, understanding the skills I have. Are they sufficient for me to be able to get into this place? For instance, you heard one Vincent also said that if you're looking to get into DevOps, you need to have at least a slight understanding of software development. It's sort of a requirement, okay? It's going to make it easier for you. Is it possible for you to get into DevOps without having software development, software understanding? Yes. Is it going to be harder for you? Yes. So these are all the truths that you actually need to know. But for you to know the career path that you should be able to get into, what I want you to do for me is just very, very fast, okay? So quickly, just click on this link, or let's do it together, okay? Let's quickly do it together. So when you click on this link that I'm going to drop in the group chat right now, all right, so once you click on this link, which I've just, okay, let me get it and drop it in the group chat, it's going to bring you to the quiz. Now, what you're expected to simply do is to answer a couple of questions, and it's going to tell you the career path that you are going to go for. So I just dropped the link there. So first thing that you need to do is simply click on Discover Your Path, all right, and then move on to Let's Go. Once you've done all those things, then simply put your name. My name is Chukwu Emeka Ekpa. And then, of course, your email address. Put your email address. So then put my email address right here. Okay, put your email address. Okay, my last name rather. So Ekpa is supposed to be here. Chukwu Emeka Ekpa. My mobile number. All right, quickly, you also put it, and then your email address. Mine is chukwuemeka@10analytics.io. So once you've done this and you've validated that this is correct, next thing I need to do is to move on to the next space. So it's going to ask you a couple of questions. What's your current job situation? Okay, if you are in care, you teach or train people, you fix tech problems, I work with money or finance, just answer it to your own best knowledge. Okay, so answer it to your own best knowledge. To me, so I'm going to just answer randomly so that we can now move ahead. So let me select this one, and the next question is a Sunday afternoon. You're most likely to how are you going to react to what you're going to be doing on a Sunday afternoon? So I'm just going to randomly answer all these questions. Your boss asks, why isn't this working? What are you going to do? Are you going to interview everyone? Are you going to check the technical infrastructure? Are you going to think, what exactly are you going to do, right? So I've answered it. Excel and Google Sheet was your vibe, okay? You also answer with regards to that. Someone says you should learn to code. Your reaction to that, what exactly is it, okay? If someone says you should learn to code, what exactly is it going to be? You also answer. So once you're able to go through all these different processes, all right, so once you're able to go all through this, then the next question, okay, sorry guys, can you all see my screen and see what I'm doing? Can we all see my screen? Please, let's confirm that we can see my screen because everybody's just...
We can see your screen, but we can't see the quiz activities.
Okay, all right. I think that is a challenge. So quickly, let me try to bring that up. I think at the beginning points, I didn't share my entire screen. I just shared only content. So let me share my entire screen so that it can actually be able to show. All right. Okay, I think it should be on my screen now. Okay, so quickly, my slide should be up again. My slide should be up again. All right, so I've selected all those things that I mentioned, right? This is how the interface looks like. Then you're not being asked to pick your dream work environment. What is it like? Also, now select it and then click on next. So the last question is, what matters most to you right now? Is it money? Is it flexibility? Is it leadership? Is it security? And so on and so forth. Flexibility for me. And then what legacy do you want to leave in a company? You also answer with regards to that. Okay. Now, once you've answered all these questions, now being asked, okay, forget logic. Which of this name actually sounds, enticing to you? Which of them sounds enticing to you? To me, I still don't know because I'm trying to break into tech. So I'm going to answer, honestly, I'm still confused, and I'll simply tap here. So with all the questions that I've been able to answer, it's going to give you the direction with which you are expected to grow from your transferable skills. Remember, you're answering those questions honestly because you want to be able to be sure that you are still going to utilize your transferable skill into the aspect of tech that you're breaking into. So for me, you can clearly see that by virtue of finishing it, it's mentioning to me, oh, I'm a visionary, I should move into product design, okay? So if you want to speak to a career coach afterwards, simply click on speak to a career coach here. I'm going to be deployed to a place where I can just book a Calendly conversation. It's not a paid career coaching, it's entirely free. Okay, so feel free to use it so they can also be able to get guidance with regards to where you are going. So once you are done with that, you can see you're now able to leverage your initial work experience. Like I said earlier, the most important thing is for us to be able to make sure that you are breaking into tech using your transferable skill because it makes it easier and faster for you. Is it possible for you to break into others if you don't have that transferable skill? Yes. Is it going to be harder? Yes. Okay, so it simply means that you now have to give in more because it's a hard career path without any transferable skill from your own part. Now, like I said earlier, how exactly will you be learning? So in the classes, they are fully live interactive class. So the same way I'm conversing with you right now, that is how your facilitator will also be speaking with you. Okay, the same way I am conversing with you, that's how your facilitator will also be speaking with you also. And then for the packages itself, one major thing people need to understand is that competence is always over credential. So before you start packaging yourself, it's important for you to make sure that you already have this competence. Okay? Competence over credential. In fact, a couple of months back, Elon Musk made a tweet. He said, if you're a hardcore software engineer and want to build the everything app, please join us by sending your best work to code@x.com. We don't care where you went to school or even whether you went to school or what big name company you worked at, just show us your code. So what this simply translates into is that the era of certification is over. Nobody cares about the certificate you're coming with, really. What everybody wants to know is, what skill do you have? And this exact skill that you're saying that you have, where have you been able to use it to build up your own experience? Okay, people like Hope, that she used to be a certified project manager, but she struggled to land a job because she doesn't even know how to use the tools in project management. Okay, she came to our program, worked through Agile project management as of September 2024, and by December 2024, she was able to land a job. And currently, she's working as a project analyst with Vestman in Ontario, Canada. Okay, so all these things is to show you that it is clearly possible. Like I said earlier, first thing that you need to note is that we are going to help you to build your portfolio. Okay, so when you join the program, you're going to be working on projects. And these projects that you are going to be working on will be part of the portfolio that you are going to be having. So this is to validate and show evidence of the skills that you already have. And then 2 months after you've joined, we are going to personally work on your CV. So what we expect from you is for you to just provide us with a prototype of what you've been able to do before, and then we're going to optimize it and then teach you how to tailor it down to the specific of the jobs that you are going for. Okay, and then also walk you through LinkedIn optimization. Very, very important. LinkedIn still remains the fastest, easiest, and cheapest means of hiring. So most recruiters are always going to go there. I know we're always going to say, oh, LinkedIn is cringe, but if you know that you want to be visible and for you to land job, it is important that you also make use of LinkedIn. Then how to navigate the job market. Constantly, we bring in experts, the same way we had Vincent and Kingsley to come here today, to talk to people. How do you actually build up this career path that you're trying to get into? Then very, very important, interview prep sessions. So what this means is that you are going to be prepared for interview, okay? You are going to be prepared. You've landed an interview invite. You just provide us the job description and we are going to prepare you fully for that interview. For instance, you've gone for an interview and they're asking you, oh, hi, Christiana, please tell me about a time where you've used Figma to build a product. So using the STAR framework, which stands for situation, task, action, and result, can comfortably be able to answer it fully. Situation being, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I worked on this project where I was required to design their LMS system. Okay, I was able to LMS rather. I was able to use Figma to do this, do my prototype, and do that one, do this one. And in the end, we're able to build an LMS that fully captures the customer journey from the onset to the offboarding of their own experience. And because of this, it's improved the number of our onboarded students by ×7. So when you speak like this, recruiters are going to know, oh, this person actually had a real life experience. So these are the things that you are also be getting as part of the program also. So job references, like I've already said, when you land a job and they want to validate, oh, where have you actually been able to use this skill? Remember, you worked with us. So we don't refer our students as students because in actual terms, you are consulting with us. Okay, you are consulting with us. Then on the job support and weekly mentorship session, as well as Upwork optimization. So all these are part of what you are going to be getting in the packages itself. Then applying, what exactly do we do? How do we help you with regards to applying to jobs? So on our own part, we scrape several job boards, even the paid ones, and provide it to you. Okay, we scrape them and provide you all those available vacancies out there. But then the responsibility of applying to those jobs rests on you. So this is where most people find it challenging, okay? Because applying to a job is a job on its own. But if you're able to follow this process from the beginning, learning the skill itself, packaging yourself, and judiciously applying to the jobs, trust me, within a couple of months, you will land one yourself, okay? So all this same strategy that I've mentioned now, that's the same thing that we've used for all our 8 different programs, and it has comfortably worked for the last 5 years that we are existing. So all these things you are seeing on my slide are people that have been able to pass through the program and they have been able to also land a job. Okay, so you can be the next person that we are going to be having on this slide. Okay, you can see all these success stories. Please, let's make sure that we fill the attendance form so that once you get the slide, you will be able to comfortably be able to, hear their own story, understand their own journey, and know the one that you can also be able to key into. So what skills exactly must you have to land any of these jobs in this 2025 as well as in 2026? What skill must you have? There are things that you need to learn. So let's start with DevOps, okay? So for DevOps, for month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, and of course, month 6 that you're going to be learning in the classroom, these are the different things that you're going to be learning. You can see the first thing that you're going to be walked through is DevOps fundamentals and of course, Linux essentials. That means you're going to understand the introductory part of DevOps, the principles and culture that exist, and then you move on to understanding Git and also the GitHub workflow. Then month 2, you're moving to your CI/CD. Okay, I think Vincent also mentioned that most people think that DevOps is just made up of CI/CD, but there's a lot of other things that you are expected to do. Okay, so you're going to move on to CI/CD. You're going to understand how to build your pipelines with Jenkins and of course your GitHub actions, and then also your artifact management using Nexus and also Artifactory. Then month 3, you're moving to your own containerization with Docker. Okay, you're understanding how do you build and manage Docker images. Okay, how do you manage your networking and volumes, and of course, your container best practices. Then month 4, you're moving to Kubernetes and of course, cloud deployment. This on this exact side, you're now learning how do you actually deploy, okay? You'll understand your Kubernetes architecture, your pods, your node, and of course, your services. Then you also understand how the helm for this Kubernetes package management actually works. Then cloud fundamentals, your AWS, and also your GCP for DevOps. Then deploying apps with Kubernetes clusters. Then month 5, you're now moving to what is IAC, okay? Okay, what is IAC? Which is infrastructure as code. Okay, you understand this, and then also you know how to monitor using Prometheus and also Grafana. So all these are the tools that you are going to be learning. Month 6, that is where you now move towards the security aspect of DevOps engineering, okay? Understand your vulnerability scanning, understand your own secret management also. So it is very, very crucial. And all these things that we're talking about from month 1 to month 6, you are going to be working on projects because that is how you build up your portfolio. So while you are learning even Git and GitHub, you are working on a project, and this project, most time they are real life projects. Okay, when you move to CI/CD, you are working using on your artifact management. You're also working on projects. Okay, when you move to Kubernetes, you are working on projects. When you move to infrastructure as a code, you are working on a project also. So in the end, by your month 6, you're going to also have a final capstone project on the end-to-end of DevOps engineering from beginning to end. So it is a full practical blown class. And like I mentioned earlier, I can clearly see that DevOps is a never-ending loop that iterates dev and also operations. You can see how it starts from you being able to actually code, okay? It starts from, not coding, it starts from planning, okay? Planning using your Jira. They are moving to coding using your Git, and then move to building, then testing, and then releasing it to operations for deployment. Now, operations have deployed, and it's now back to you being able to operate on it, monitor it, and then if there is now an issue, it's going back to planning. So most times when you raise all those tickets in your company, know that your ticket is going back to planning, because someone needs to plan it into the code system again for the build between the prints, depending on how they practice. And then they are going to code it, build it, and then test it again, then release and deploy. This is how constantly DevOps works. It's a never-ending loop that connects software development and operations. So if you have someone that you have a knack for coding, okay, you want to be able to build things, it is not an environment where you're going to be seeing things that are visually appealing. It may not be visually appealing to you, okay? So if you're someone that you have a knack for those coding, please feel free to go for DevOps engineering. And the program for DevOps is for 6 months, okay? It's for 8 months rather. So 6 months, you are learning a massively with analytics. And then 2 months, you're going to have an internship experience with Amdari. So what this means is that you're working with 2 globally known companies. Can comfortably mention, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I did this. Oh, while I was interning with Amdari, I did that. So once you're able to move between these 2 conversational styles, people or recruiters are going to know that you actually have an experience. And the class holds only on Saturdays, okay? By 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. The class holds by 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays alone, West African time. Then within the week, that's when we now have some sessions around your interview prep sessions, optimizing your CV, mentorship sessions, and all those aspects. So clearly, it's in 2 phases. One holds by 10 p.m. West African time, which is okay for people in Europe, United Kingdom, Africa. Then another one holds by 8 p.m. MST, so okay for people in North America. Then, very, very important, all these sessions are always recorded, whether it's the classes or whether it's the mentorship session. So what it simply means is that if you miss any of the classes, you have the fully recorded version for you. So the expectation is now for you to go through, watch the recording, and then come to the closed community and ask questions. Oh, I was trying to go through this class that we had on Kubernetes, and I had this challenge. And someone is going to be able to jump right back in and walk you through everything that you did not understand. So that is how DevOps fully flows. For product design, first thing that you're also going to be moving into is understanding your UX foundations and, of course, your research. Most time people just think, oh, product design is just for me to take my laptop and start scribbling things together. So you need to actually understand research in its sense. How do you conduct user research, interview, survey, and observation? Okay, understanding the UX design process and also the human-centered approach with regards to design. Before you now move to the other aspect of usability testing, portfolio, okay, not that, before you now move into wireframes, visual design, and also prototyping. So you're going to understand your architecture, information architecture, and then your user flows, and of course, wireframing. Then you move on to your design principles, your color, your typography, your layouts. So all those websites that you go to and say, this guy's color is not fine. These are people that actually help to design the skeletal version of those websites. They now be introduced to Figma as well for UI, UX, and of course, how do you create a high fidel mockups, okay? And also design system. Then lastly, you're moving to usability testing, portfolio, and also AI in product design. I know we all heard when the speaker also mentioned that they use ChatGPT. So how do you infuse artificial intelligence into what you are doing? Okay, so you're going to be conducting usability tests, you're going to be doing collaboration and design handoffs. So these are the places where we now, build your visual ideation with Midjourney and of course, ideogram. So you're going to be learning how to use Figma. You're also going to be learning how to use Notion and also Cloud and Framer AI also. So fully, if you're someone that you have a knack for creativity, you like visual appealing things, and of course, there is no coding involved in product design, then you should be going towards product design. And for this course, it is for 4 months. So you have a 3 months immersive classroom learning with analytics, and then a 1 month internship experience with Amdare. And the class is also the same time with DevOps. It's by 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. And then during the week, that is when the mentorship session also holds. Okay. Now, all the sessions are also recorded, that if you miss anyone, maybe because of extra shifts or because the timeline, you had some personal things to do, the recorded version of that will be provided to you. Just go through it and then come back and ask constructive questions, and your facilitator will be there to answer every single one of them. Now, the question you'll be asking yourself right now is, how can I get started as at today? So the beauty of all this thing is that our next cohort is starting on December 6th. So we start a new cohort every first Saturday of each month, and the next one starts on December 6th. And we have an amazing discount because we are currently celebrating our 50th anniversary. In fact, all of us, we traveled and we gathered somewhere to have our celebration, and that's where we all agreed to have these discounts going on right now. So for DevOps engineering, the full price for it is $1,000, okay? But it is currently discounted by 50%, which means you get to pay $500, and you don't have to pay it one-off. Can pay $125, $125, $125, $125, and this is what we've done to make it easier for everyone. Same thing for product design. The full amount is $600, and it's currently discounted to $300, which means you get to pay $100, $100, $100 for a stretch of 3 months, and you will be able to get into the program. And this is not for everyone, okay? Because it's a new class. Once we have first 20 people to secure their spots in any of these places, the spots, or the pricing rather, goes back to the full amount. Okay, so even if you are not aware of the one that you want to go for yet, make sure that you secure your spot first, and then maybe book that one-on-one clarity session, and we're going to help you understand the best career path for you. Now, how do you get to secure your spots? Okay, so using the link that my colleagues are dropping in the chat, all you have to do is simply click on that link, and it's going to bring you to our website. Okay, it's going to bring you to our catalog. So what you have to do is now scroll down. You can see clearly all the courses that we are offering: data, business, financials, HR, full stack data science, and the rest. But for you going for product design, what do you need to do for DevOps engineering? Just keep scrolling down and look for it. So this is DevOps engineering. Simply click on buy now. Once you've clicked on buy now, the next thing you're going to do is click on enroll. So once you do this, we expect you to then put your name. My name is Ekpa Chukwu Emeka. So I'm going to do Ekpa Chuks, and then you put your email address. So for the purpose of this demo, let me generate a temporary email that I'm going to be using for this demonstration. So I'm going to put it here, and then simply put my phone number. So once you do it, we'll not expect you to go through the terms and conditions and then create an account. Once you've created an account, the next thing that you're going to be seeing on your screen is that account created successfully. Check your email for your login credential. So once you get this pop-up, you are going to be redirected to the page where you can now comfortably be able to secure your spot. You can see I've gone for DevOps engineering, and you have the option to either go for December or go for January. For instance, I know there are some people that are already on vacation. They've closed for the year. They have pushed everything to January. So if you are such person, all we expect from you is now say, okay, I don't want to start in December. I want to start in January. But the beauty is that you've simply secured your spot right now that the discount is still ongoing. But if you want to go for the December one, which I would advise you to actually go for, simply select on that and then scroll down. Now, how do you want to make your payment? Do you want to pay the full one off, or do you want to pay it in 2 installments, or do you want to pay in 3 installments, or in 4 installments? So let's say you are going for the 4 installments. Simply click on the 4 installmental plan, click on apply discount, and it's going to take you to the page where you can now look at your details and validate whether it is correct. So mine is Ekbachu, that's my name, this is my email address, this is my phone number. It is showing that I'm starting in December, okay? And my next payment date is showing December 20th. But do I want my next payment date to be on December 20th? Because you can see, it takes your next payment every 30-day cycle. First one is going off today, next one is going off December 20th, next one January 19th, and then the upper one February 18th. But possibly, maybe my salary comes in every 27th of the month. So I can decide that I want to edit, just click on edit date, click on 27th. So what is going to happen once you click on save is that it's going to update your payments plan to show that first payment is going out today, but the next one will go out on December 27th. So this is giving you the flexibility to actually choose when your next payment should go out. And then your third one is going out January 26th, then final one February 25th. When you've seen that everything is comfortable or everything is okay, rather, simply confirm that your information is correct and it also validates that you've gone through the terms and conditions. Then all you have to now do is simply click on Pay Now. So once you've done that, it's then going to take you to the checkout page where what we expect from you is to simply check out. Okay, and how do you do that? So let me explain also using this dummy card. All right, so once you get to that checkout page, simply put your card details. So I'm going to put my card details right now. I'm going to put my card details right now. Okay, it is still loading. Just give it a moment. It is still loading. It is still loading. I'm sure it's going to come up in the next couple of minutes. Okay, so once it's up, all you have to do on this page is for you to simply put your card details. Okay, it's up. So for this explanation, let me use this to demonstrate how you can go about your payments. Don't bother copying this code because it's a dev account. It can never work for you. And then, oh, this is not correct. All right, and then 1030, yeah. And then put your SVC 112. So the name on the card is Ekbachu, like I did before. So at this point, all you have to now do is simply pay. So once you've validated that your payments, your details are correct, you feed your card details, you simply pay, and you are going to know whether your payment was successful or whether it was declined. So it is as simple as that. It's a process that can stand on, you can be able to start and complete within a space of 2 minutes. Okay, and once the payment is successful, all you have to now do is to click on go to your dashboard. So when you get to your dashboard, you are going to expect you to verify your email. So on that email that you used to create your account, we're going to send you a link to verify your address. Okay, so all you have to do is simply go to that same email. Oh, these guys are asking me to verify that I'm human. All right, so you're not going to have all these because, of course, you are going to be using your actual email address. So let me get the code that they sent here. Once I get the code, I can now easily verify that I'm the one. So I've gotten the code. Okay, the code is simply, okay, why is it taking time to come up? Just a moment. Okay, the code is 211457. So all I have to do is now come here and put my code 211457. So once you do that, at this stage, you've completed your verification. Okay, once you do it and verify the email, you have completed it and you are going to now be redirected to the LMS. So once you get into the LMS, you are going to have a couple of onboarding video. Okay, a couple of checklists that we expect you to check out for you to have a very good experience, walking you through who your facilitator is, walking you through who your coordinator is also, and walking you through whom you are going to be interacting with and every single thing that you are going to be needing with regards to the program. So once you are done with all those onboarding, next thing is for you to instantly start attending classes. So it is as simple as that, a process that within a 2 minutes journey, you can complete it from the beginning to the end. I don't know if at this point we have any question from anyone before we start rounding up. Do we have any question from anyone? Please feel free to use the raise hand icon and I will call you up to speak. Or you can drop it in the comment section and I'm also going to pick it up from there. Do you have any question from anybody? I'm going through the comments section. I can't find any question. Okay, there is no question in the comment section. Do you want to speak directly? Please feel free. Use the raise hand icon, and I'm also going to be here to answer your questions. Do you have any question from anybody? I'm not getting any question. I'm not getting any hand raised. Okay, question, please. That should be from Rene. So, Rene, I'm going to look for you and ask you to unmute. I can't find you here. Okay, let me check. Rene, please, do you want to drop it in the comment section, or do you want to use the raise hand icon? Rene Vedeskov. Okay. Rene, please use the raise hand icon so that I'll be able to see your hand and ask you to speak. Rene, are you there? Okay, I've seen you. Please go ahead and speak.
Can I speak now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, I did that yesterday. I registered for the DevOps engineering course yesterday, and I did fill all the procedures, but it reached a point that it came up to the video, that there are some videos that I need to do and to upload something. It just stopped there. I could not continue. So I filled the first 4, then the last 2 were unfilled. So the whole today I tried to contact at a management administration for them to do something. But before that, I've already enrolled. I've already enrolled for the data science and the data engineering for 2003, 2004. Then what happened was this DevOps engineer went into the same platform. So there were 3 courses. So it could not even allow me to watch my other old videos for 2004. And what happened was there was a video that they did in data engineering that at work, the same procedure that they used in the course, I was supposed to use that same procedure at work. So I went to go over the video again. I could not. And that caused a lot of problem at work for me today.
All right, so I'm so sorry for that, Rene. We take full responsibility for that. So what you're saying is that you are on already existing students before now, data science,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All right, so please, we are going to reach out to you immediately after this to find a way to resolve the challenge, okay? So, once you use one email that you've used to register 1 and register 2, it may have that confliction. So we're going to look at that and find a way to resolve it. All right, so we are so sorry for that challenge that you had. Okay, I've taken down your name. Please, you reached out to our help, right?
Yeah, I wrote about 15 messages today. Nobody helped me. And that was a very critical position for me today, for me to implement that in pipeline. That the course that I did in 2004, the tutor clearly explained the procedure on attaching the data breaks to the ETL and to my Postgres, and it was clearly explained because it needed about 20 procedure steps to take. So I did allow that. I'm going to do the work today. When I booked for the for DevOps engineering yesterday, my whole platform just went blocked.
All right, I understand.
I was stranded.
All right, I've already sent.
I've
already sent it for resolution, and I'll assure you that before today is over, it's going to be fully resolved. Okay, it is going to be fully resolved. All right, we are so sorry about that. Like I said earlier, right now everybody's actually out of town because today is our 50th anniversary. You can see I'm still wearing my own polo, so I'm sure that is why we are having this challenge today. But we're going to resolve it as fast as possible. Okay, I've taken down notes and we're going to look into it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, let me check. You can see, guys, Rene is a returning student, data science, data engineering. So we are actually here anytime. So all those recorded classes that you have it is a lifetime access that you are going to be having. So please, more details about the internship, salary, work design. Okay, so clearly, Tem Olu, the internship that we're providing for you is not a paid internship. So we are not paying you for the internship. It's simply, there is a consulting organization that provides you with projects that you're going to be working on to also improve your own experience. Okay, so you're not going to an organization where you're going to be paid salary or where you're going to be paid anything. You are the one actually paying us in this context. Okay, for us to be able to teach you the skills, help you understand it in Amdari, and at the end, we are providing, help you understand it analytics rather, and in the end, we're also moving you to Amdari to now work on more projects. Okay, so you are not being paid for it. I hope that makes sense to you, Tem Olo. All right. Do we have any other question from anyone before we call it a day for today? I have Adi, I have Christiana. Christiana, you have a question? Okay, please, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead and speak. Hi, Christiana, I've asked you to unmute, please. Okay, I should scroll up. I can't see it, Christiana. I can't see your own question, please. I've scrolled up. I can't see it.
Hi. Okay, sorry.
Can you
I'm in a
please
noisy
confirm the amount?
environment. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, I was asking for the amount for product design.
Yes. So the amount for product design is 300 USD. So,
okay, because initially we had seen 450. I mean, the previous session that I joined, it was 450. So, I mean, this would be a good one if it comes down to 300, because I was wondering why the 50% was not applied to product design initially.
Okay, yeah, it is 300 actually. It is 300. When did you join the session, Christiana?
I joined one last week.
Last week. All right, so
yes.
It is 300. It is 300. Okay.
Okay.
And
Thank you so
truth
much.
is actually also that, Christiana, it's just for the first 20 people. All right. So I always advise people to try and secure their spots as soon as they can, because once that 20 is filled, if you go to the website, you're going to be seeing the full amount, which is that same 600. Okay. But as of now, if you go there right now, you're going to see 300 for product design and 500 for DevOps. And you can secure your spot for product design using $100. Okay. And it gives you the currency in your own local currency. So if you're in United Kingdom, you're going to be seeing that $300 in pounds. If you're in Canada, you're going to be seeing it in CAD. If you're in Nigeria, you're going to be seeing the equivalent exactly in Nigeria, in NGN rather. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Christiana. I also registered for a DevOps course. However, I got stuck at some point and could not complete the onboarding checklist. Okay. You couldn't complete the onboarding checklist. We will want to know the issues that you are having, but I've taken down your name to also find out what the problem is. That should be from Zori Mone. All right, Mone Nganya. Zoe. Okay, I've taken down your name so that I'll also be able to reach out to you and know what the problem is. All right, like I said earlier, product design and DevOps, this is our first cohort. So I'm not going to come here and try to make it look like it's what we've been doing for the last 12 years, okay? So for all these years, we've had several other places that have been focused. But for our first cohort for DevOps and products in this design, they are all starting this December. And that's clearly the reason why you're also seeing it at this discounted price that they are fully currently going by. Okay, do we have any other question from anyone? Adi, David, Del, Franklin, Kelvin, Mona, Patrick, and Willie? Do you have any other question before we call it a day? Okay, I can't see any other question. All right, let me move on. So just to summarize everything that we've been talking about today. So I always mention to people that the best time to get into tech is yesterday. I know many of us are going to be saying, oh, 2026, that is when I want to start. But if you want to break into tech in 2026, the time for you to prepare is now, which means now is actually the time for you to take action. Are we going to get this recording? Yes, David. So everybody that joined this conversation, make sure you fill the attendance form. The attendance form is what we are going to be using to send out the recorded version of this conversation to everyone, as well as the slide that we are using for it also. Okay, so but make sure that you fill the attendance form. And in the end of this training fully, you're going to be getting a certificate from Analytics, and we are fully accredited by the ACTD, that's American Council of Training and Development. Okay, so once you are done with the training, you're also getting a certificate to validate the experience that you also already have. Last year, we got into the Alberta Catalyzer program with one aim: how do we improve in our offerings? And this year also, we got into the Dohe program with also one aim: how do we keep doing what we are doing and times it by 2? So constantly on our own side, we also learn and improving to make sure that we have continuous better offering for everybody. Now, this is your own time to also have a learning experience that is an agile mindset, okay? So everything on this slide now, they are all success stories of people that have been able to do this before now, okay? We have Abigail. Abigail used to work as a carer in UK, but right now she's a manager, business analytics manager with the government of Alberta, Canada. So all this can also be your own story, but the journey of that 1,000 miles rather, begins with the step of you taking action today. Like I said earlier, we've helped over 2,855 people transition from our classroom into several tech jobs in US, UK, Canada, Europe, and of course, Asia. And you yourself can be the next person that will benefit from this, okay? On behalf of my founder, Adeza Suleiman, my co-founder, Efmana Ipro, and of course, Daniela, and also the speakers that we had earlier today, Kelvin, Kingsley, and Vincent, we say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for joining this session today. But remember, the best time to take action is today, because tomorrow it might be too late. So thank you all so much, and I look forward to seeing you join the first cohort that we are going to be having for the DevOps and for the product design. Cheers, everyone. I remain Chukwemeka Ikba. Bye for now.